man, very special edition, Fantasy Football Tuesday. Man, I'm geeked out for this. Unfortunately, no show tomorrow. However, I don't even know if I want to say it. I don't even know if I want to say it. I'm not even sure if I should. However, there is a possibility of a special guest on Friday. Possibility of a special guest on Friday. So I'm really excited about that. By the way, I'm not abandoning you guys. If you reach out to me tonight, I will get back to you either Wednesday morning or Tuesday night, depending on what part of the world or country you live in. I will also, if you send me a question, even though I won't have a show Wednesday, if you send me a question, I will get back to you before Thursday Night Football, and I'll be back live Thursday for Fantasy Football Thursday. I refused to purchase ESPN Plus, so I wasn't able to watch Chargers Cardinals. I have the game on DVR. I will watch that later today. That special guest is me. Perry, welcome, brother. Welcome, man. I'm glad to see you. Yeah, it's not confirmed, so I don't want to say. Tigger! 6-1 Tigger. You have Lamar Jackson. You are winning. You got Ricky on waivers and the Buck wide receiver. I need help. Yeah. Ricky Purcell is who I'm assuming you're talking about. You know what? I can't believe I'm already forgetting his name. I'm going to say Trey Benson, but Trey Palmer. Not a bad idea. Jalen McMillan, probably not a bad idea. Sterling Shepard, maybe not a bad idea. I'm kind of expecting Tampa to make a move. And by the way, if you're wondering, I'm kind of expecting DeAndre Hopkins to end up in Tampa. I may trade for Hunter and Moss for DeAndre Hopkins. That's smart. Very smart. Let me know if that trade already went through or not. By the way, Tigger, 12-team non-PPR superflex, 2 quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, congratulations. You probably won last night, and you're in great shape. Brees Hall, Mason, Diggs, London, Ferguson, Mixon, Trevor Lawrence, who I think will start playing better. Benches Aguilar, Derek Carr, Hunter Henry, Justin Hill, Kareem Hunt, Zach Moss. Help me win. That's what we're here for. So I'm thinking about trading for James Conner. Well, let me ask you this. If you already made this trade, and your running backs are Brees Hall, Mason, and Mixon, I mean, I know it's a super flex league, but I'm under the impression it's still 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 defense, and then you have a super flex. The flex, because I don't really see how James Conner helps you, because I'm looking at Brees Hall, I'm looking at Mason, and I'm looking at Mixon. You also have Kareem Hunt. So What I'd like to do is kind of shore up on your receivers because I'm not. London's been playing like a number one. Diggs's production's going to go down. That's kind of what I'm thinking. You know, it's funny. Perry says Henry was a beast. He's got to be an MVP candidate. With the Ravens defense not playing that well, I don't know who the MVP is. I don't know if it's Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson. I honestly don't know. I'm not saying this to be facetious, but I mean, who else is a viable MVP candidate besides Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? And I'll be honest with you, out of the two, I personally would give it to Derrick Henry. Nothing against Lamar Jackson. I mean, the numbers he's putting up and the way he's playing is phenomenal. I would give it to Derrick Henry. I really would. So the way the MVP balloting goes, it usually you go 1, 2, and 3. I would go Henry 1, Lamar 2. I don't even know who number 3 is right now. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, who's a legitimate MVP candidate at number 3? I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, I'm toying around, like, you know, I was looking at fantasy football numbers. I mean, Jamar Chase is doing some good things. Justin Jefferson, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff. I can make a case for those guys. I know it's kind of funny, but there's one undefeated team, and I seriously, I wouldn't put Mahomes in the top 10 as an MVP candidate. That could change, but you know, for right now, I have no idea. Yeah, okay, yeah, Josh Allen. I'm embarrassed. I shouldn't even said that. I didn't even bring that up, but yeah. Austin, what's up, my brother? Hey, Dan, roster update: quarterback Dak, CJ, Henry, nice, Taylor, Aaron Jones, Bigsby, wide receiver St. Brown, Neighbors, MHJ, Wandale Waddle, tight end Pitts, Bowers, Ingram. By the way, I mean, great job on your tight ends. You got Pitts, Bowers, and Ingram. That's a fantastic job. I like Aubrey as the kicker, and the Broncos defense is really, really solid. Wide receivers, Neighbor stays healthy, unlimited potential. You got St. Brown, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor. Unknown if he's going to play, but I like both Aaron Jones and Bigsby. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. Both quarterbacks are really good. I mean, this is an excellent roster. 5-2. Okay, so if I'm correct, you lost last night. Is that right? I apologize. I don't remember what your situation was off the top of my head. I should, but I don't. I want to trade Aaron Jones, Kyle Pitts, and Wendell for Bijan Robinson. My thought process is I'm not starting Kyle Pitts or Wendell at any point right now, so it's basically Jones and Bijan swap. Okay, you won 5 straight. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I know you had some. I thought there was somebody messaged me last night that they were going against Baker Mayfield, and I thought that was you, but or I meant Lamar Jackson. I like this. I actually really, really like this. You're not, to tell you the truth, it's one of those rare trades that helps both people. Let me know if you go through this trade. The Jets are in a spiral right now. Do you think the Jets can turn it around? It's do or die this week if you're the Jets. And normally I wouldn't sit here and tell you that week 8 is a do or die game, but it is. It really, 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 really is. If you go 2-6, it's too much to overcome. It really is. I mean, you're if you go 2-6, you're not winning 9 straight. You're just not. I mean, let's be realistic. If you're you're not going to go from 2-6 to 11-6. Now, could they turn it around and go from 2-6 to 8-9, 9-8? Sure. However, they have 4 games before the bye. They have a week 12 bye, a late season bye, which I think is very advantageous. All right. They play New England this week. They have to beat New England this week. New England is a terrible team right now. Everything about New England is bad. I didn't watch the game against Jacksonville, but all I heard was that the team was soft. What little I've seen out of Drake May, he doesn't really look ready. He doesn't have the weapons that Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels has. So I really didn't think it was a good idea to start him this year at all, or if he did later in the season. But Jacoby Brissett just almost looked like he was broken. So, and this is key because it's a road game. So if you win a road game, it's just going to help you out. But here's a drill: your next 3 games, home against Houston. Let's say you lose that one. All right, that puts you at 3-6. But then you have at Arizona and Indianapolis at home. You go into the bye at 5-6. You have a legitimate chance because here's your opponents: home against Seattle, at Miami, at Jacksonville. Those are 3 winnable games after the bye. That gets you to 8-6. That gets you to 8-6 right there. Rams at home, at Buffalo, Miami at home. With a win Sunday, you have a legitimate chance to be 10-7. And if you get in, who knows? Honestly, what they need to do, and this is going to sound a little crazy, is they really just need to start playing better defense. I know that sounds nuts, but the last 3 games, 23, 23, and 37. That's if I'm doing my math right, it's 83 points. 83 divided by 3. What 27 points a game? Over 27 points a game? Almost 28? Was it 27.66? Yeah, defense has to turn things around. Will McDonald is having a great season. The rest of that defense really needs to step up. The defense really needs to step up. Forget about the offense. The Jets last year had one of the best defenses I've ever seen. This defense isn't that good. It all comes down to defense. I know it sounds a little crazy, but all you're asking last year is some production from the quarterback position. Believe it or not, Rodgers isn't playing terrible. I mean, he's given you some things, but this isn't the same defense. You're going against a rookie quarterback who doesn't look good. You're going against an offensive team that looks terrible. This is a must-win for the Jets. They win this game, it's 3-5. And you have, by the way, Houston's a Thursday night game. Let's say if you lose, even if you lose that, your next couple of games are very, very winnable. If you beat New England, the Thursday night games are kind of weird. Look, you win your next. Let's have some fun. Let's say you beat Houston. Weirder things have happened. You're 4-5. You're right there. It all comes down to Sunday. It could be an ugly win. It could be it could be a 3-2 win. It doesn't matter. You beat New England, you have a chance. Yeah, Josh Allen for need number 3, Baker's 4. I don't disagree with that. Goff, Perry sent me something about, I asked what quarterback performance was most surprising. He's like, Dan, Goff's done something that's only been done like, I think 3 times in NFL history. I forget the exact quote, but he sent me something, and I didn't know it. I didn't know how good Goff's been playing lately. I could argue Goff's number 3. Dan, I agree. Yeah, I that's what you're at. I mean, look, Lamar Jackson. Yeah, Funk sent me that. I didn't know how good he was playing. I can make it strong. Listen, the Lions are the number 1 team in the NFC right now, and Goff, I think really been the catalyst to that. You can argue some things if you want. By the way, this is not alcohol. It's just a little nutritional drink. My diet's not been good lately. My Aunt Connie sent me a bunch of cookies. So my Aunt Connie's fantastic. I'll report Riddick will report Monday. Report Rams are trying to trade Stafford. Okay, so let me clarify what's going on with Hassan Reddick. He's signing with the Jets. They're restructuring the deal. Remember, Jermaine Johnson's out for the year. I expect Reddick to play. The Stafford trade I heard about also, I don't think it's realistic at all. I really don't. And the reason why I say that is the Rams, they're going to play on Thursday night against Minnesota. It's at home. Cooper Kupp's coming back. If they win this game, they're in contention for the NFC West. I don't see a realistic situation where they could trade Stafford. I really don't. I mean, who are you going to trade him to? It doesn't make any sense. Miami, they're going to try to bring back Tua this week. I've been adamant this is a major mistake. I think Stafford and Miami would be a lot of fun, to be honest with you. But, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is just talk. I don't believe it. I mean, I've seen weirder things, don't get me wrong, but I don't see a realistic trade of Stafford. But I have heard that as well. Sisu, my German brother! Just lost my second number 1 wide receiver. Next week's an important matchup. All right, so I did want to talk about this in a little detail because if you have Mike Evans or Godwin, you took a major loss. You have a few options that are available in the waiver wire. MVS, so that's one thing. MVS just signed with the Saints. Now, if you're a Chiefs fan like myself, his drops are infuriating. All right. Who else do you have in New Orleans? They have a lot of injuries. Now, Chris Olave is coming back. I firmly expect Chris Olave's production to go way up. Okay. Derek Carr might play. I'm following that situation. I can see a situation where Taysom Hill gets a bigger role if he plays as well. In Tampa, they got some young players that actually just have no choice but to play. I think what you're going to see is DeAndre Hopkins traded to Tampa Bay. I think it's going to happen very soon. It just makes sense. Um, good player for Baker Mayfield to have. It's a 1-year rental. You're in really good shape to do something if you're Tampa. If you're Tennessee, you know you're not going to keep them. You need draft capital. Just kind of makes sense. DeAndre Hopkins will probably be gone. It wouldn't surprise me if it happens this week. By the way, I don't know what's going on, Will Levis or Mason Rudolph. If I'm Tennessee, I definitely give Mason Rudolph another chance. I mean, I know it's kind of a tough ask, to be honest with you, to sit here and because they're playing at Detroit. I know it's a tough ask, but I think you see what you have in the kid, because I think Will Levis has proven he just doesn't fit the offense. Now, if you want to fire your head coach, if you're Tennessee, and I understand, I mean, you spent a lot of money in free agency, expectations were high. I mean, I saw this a mile away, but yeah. So you have Godwin. All right. So here's your options. By the way, he wasn't very good in Kansas City, but you have a guy on the waiver wire. All right. You have a guy on the waiver wire. You also have several guys on the Bucks that you could pick up. I do expect DeAndre Hopkins to be in Tampa Bay sooner than later. Sterling Shepard's a guy I like. I think that he will get some more touches. Trey Palmer's a guy with a lot of athleticism. Jalen McMillan, what was he, a third-round pick out of Washington? He's a possibility. Cade Otton, if you don't already have him on your fantasy team, his production will go up. I'm kind of expecting all the running backs to be a lot more involved in the passing game. But I'll be honest, man. Why did Tampa keep throwing? I kind of like the aggressiveness. I like the never say die attitude. Then I see Godwin go down, and it's just like, you got to be kidding me. Because when Evans went down, he was already gimpy to begin with. I wasn't surprised. Hamstring injuries are a little unusual. It could be a week. Seriously, it could be 6 weeks. If you're Tampa, you've got to figure out what to do, because I mean, here's the drill. Tampa Bay has a 3-game stretch that's really tough before their bye. Atlanta at home, at Kansas City, and then San Francisco at home. Then you have a bye week. After your bye week, you're at New York and at Carolina. Then you get the Raiders at home. So you got some winnable games. But what you're really trying to do out of this 3-game stretch, whether you want to admit it or not, I'll be honest with you, you really just want to get one. I know that sounds crazy, but what you want to do is you want to go to them by at least 5-5. Ideally, the game that you win is the Atlanta one. You can lose the next 2, and you're still not in bad shape. You go into the bye, Evans comes back. I really, really, really believe that Hopkins will be in Tampa sooner than later. It could happen this week. Perry says Miami should be sitting Tua the rest of the season. I agree. I really agree. There's no reason to come back. Look, if you want to tell me that, oh, you want to come back, season's not over yet, great. You're 2-4. The defense isn't that good. You're really going to catch Buffalo? I understand the logic, and if Tua wants to play, you can't. So that's why a young coach needs to pick the right fit. And this is if they do it, yeah, if they bench, if they bench, yeah. And by the way I understand it is Tua, as of right now, will be the starting quarterback against Arizona. Kind of a low key good game. So Perry, this is really important. When you're the coach, a lot of people feel like the coach gets to choose the players, and that it's not always the case. A lot of times you're forced to play a guy that you don't want to play, and it's caused problems in the past. Marty Schottenheimer famously wanted Drew Brees, not Philip Rivers. That one year though, they worked in the regular season. They went 14-2. I don't know if you watched my video. Top 10 teams and never make the Super Bowl, but that team was one of them. That 14-2 Chargers team. Drew Bledsoe was the number one pick in the draft. He was a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and they liked what they saw out of Brady, and they made an exception to carry an extra quarterback just because they liked what they saw. And then when you had an opportunity to play, it worked. Philly made a massive decision, which was, they drafted a quarterback when they already had Carson Wentz, who looked like he was going to be a star. And they remember they drafted Jalen Hurts as a second round pick. Now there's no question that was the right decision. But remember when they let him go, they were given it was a big loss of money, and there's no guarantee. And then Jalen Hurts had a really great season. Tony Romo and Dak Prescott in Dallas. I don't know if you remember that situation, but for weeks they kept on saying, this is Tony Romo's team, this is Tony Romo's team, this is Tony Romo's team. Then finally it was just, we're just going to go with Dak. A lot of times you just have to have a second option. Think. By the way, I mean, what Denver did was ballsy by releasing Russell Wilson and eating, what was it, $47 million or something, and going with Bo Nix. I mean, they're 4-3. That's kind of working. So, yeah, I agree completely. By the way, Perry, man, God, you're on fire today, man. Teams need to look at the long-term health of the player and what's best for the franchise long-term. Absolutely. Dan DBC, yo, how's it going? I ended up winning my matchup last night. Dicker came through. Yes! Yes! Oh, man, I'm glad to hear that, man. Were you going against Lamar, if I'm correct? I need a big game from Tyreek Hill next week. That's the only 7-1 guy in the league. The plan is to have listen. I mean, look, I know he's been wildly unproductive. All right, last week, let's take a look. Last week, 1 catch, 5 yards. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 carry, 5 yards, 1 catch, 8 yards. Both Tyler Huntley and Tim Boyle, wildly unproductive. I get it. Listen, the plan right now is ESPN's. Okay, so this is what ESPN's reporting from yesterday. Mike McDaniel said Tua will practice Wednesday in preparation to potentially play Week 8 versus the Cardinals. I think he's going to play. Do I think he should play? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, you were the one who was going against Lamar, but yeah. You went against Tucker and the Chargers D. Oh. I'm glad you won, brother. God, I'm so happy, man. Blank, what's up? Dude, I need a wide receiver. Brandon is out now. All right. Trade options. What are your trade options? That's number one. Waiver wire. Juwan Jennings, Ricky Bell. I know Debo's in the hospital right now, but I mean, listen, there is a so apparently it's like some sort of ammonia. I'm gonna level with you. Nobody really knows, but it's a big game Sunday night. It's Cowboys. You may be able to. I have no idea what you could trade for or not trade for. All right. MVS on the waiver wire is probably available. Good luck. But I mean, they don't have much else in New Orleans. Maybe you can get Chris Olave, who I think's production is going to go way up. Ricky Bell, Juwan Jennings for the 49ers. The Chiefs, Juju Smith-Schuster is probably out. If I remember correctly, is out. Justin Watson, maybe Xavier Worthy. You want to roll the dice. Any of Tampa's young wide receivers might be available waiver wire. Do you have a trade option? This is what I talk about. You got to win your trades. What do you have available that you can trade for? Let me know. No, he was not. He was not. It looks like he's the right. It looks like he's the right fit in Pittsburgh, though. Mr. Vengeance, trade Mahomes for Ladd and Tyreek. I'm gonna love with you. I'm not a McConkey fan at all. But you could hit a home run with Tyreek Hill. There's a lot of question marks here. I hate doing this, Mr. Vengeance, but can you send me the rest of your roster? I mean, are you set at the quarterback position? Because I know Mahomes has played bad as far as fantasy football is concerned, and the Chiefs have some injuries at receiver, but if you're going to make a trade, you're trading for one guy in Ladd McConkey. What's he going to be on your team? Just an extra player, trade bait. Tyreek Hill's possible to you listen. There's a chance you make this trade. Tyreek Hill blows up, and you could be winning your fantasy football league. You could also trade Mahomes, and this is the absolute worst 6-game stretch Mahomes has played. If he comes back to being Mahomes, you may lose your fantasy football league because of this trade. What else? Can you send me more of your roster so I can get an idea? But this is a risky proposition, one that could work for you though. I don't want you to wait, because if Tua comes back and Tyreek Hill blows up this week, you're not going to be able to get this trade. That said, Patrick Mahomes, I think, will have a big week against the Raiders, and you may be able to get more for him. So, Potato Juice 4811. I don't recognize the names. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, man. I like it. I like it. Oh boy. Trade CD Lamb and Chase Brown for Monty and Debo. I'm highly against this trade big time. Chase Brown and Montgomery, I can argue that that's a slight upgrade. Debo's in the hospital for some sort of ammonia. I have no idea if he's even going to play. I think he will. You're always going to have injury issues. You're always going to have upside. CD Lamb is there's really not three receivers better. By the way, I'm assuming you're in a PPR league. I mean, CD Lamb's probably doing pretty good for you. So Mr. Vengeance is, yeah. I mean, I'm against this at all. I understand your logic behind it, but I mean, CD Lamb's going to be consistently productive and fresh off of bye. I would hold on to him, man. Michael Chapp, what's up, brother? You think I could get A-Chain for Olave? A-Chain owner just lost Godwin for the year. The guy should make this trade no brainer. As far as getting A-Chain, I know when Mozart had the fumble, they were leaning away. With Tua coming back, you have no idea what you're going to get. I'm just going to warn you. I know you're probably not big on Olave. I know that the last game he played in, he got hurt, wasn't productive. But with Rashid out for the year and Derek Carr potentially coming back, Olave's value and production is just going to go way up. You may want to consider keeping Olave, but I'll be honest with you, the A-Chain owner, not only is he going to make this trade, you may be able to get a little more. I'll be honest with you. I would see if I can get a little more from him. You may be able to get, I mean, if you're dying to get A-Chain and that's your guy, he will probably make that trade. I mean, he's probably in panic mode. But this is a situation where I'm not really seeing you get some value for it. I'd like to see you get a little more, but if you like A-Chain, great. He'll make the move. He needs to. So, but you're in a situation here that you could really benefit. Is if this is the guy that you're targeting, like I want A-Chain, I'm not going to stop you. I'm throwing this out there because this guy's in panic mode right now. This is where you win. This is where you win the trade, and I like to see you get maximum value out of the trade. So, can you get more? Is all I'm asking. Blank. Who should I pick up? Myers, Johnson, Shakir, McConkey, Dobbs, Lockett, Judy, or out A-L-L-E-N. All right. All right. So you have some good options here. You know, I'm gonna level with you. Judy has a lot of drops. You have an unknown quarterback situation. But here's what you do have. You have an improving offensive line, and you have Nick Chubb, and Judy's wildly talented. Okay. I kind of like Myers myself. I'm leaning against Shakir. I feel I should know this. I'm so sorry. Are you talking Quentin Johnston or I mean, not exactly sure. McConkey, a guy that I'm not high on myself, has potential. Lockett is kind of being phased out of that Seattle offense, but I don't really. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If we're like picking guys off the fence, which one would I want to add to my team? It would be Lockett, no brainer. Dobbs is a real hit and miss. There's so many weapons there in Green Bay. I'm gonna level with you, man. I mean, Myers might be the best one you can do. I also wouldn't hate Jerry Jeudy, and I wouldn't hate Lockett. Those would be kind of the three that I would look on this list. Listen, talent-wise, it's Jeudy. Best players, Lockett, but I think the most productive is going to be Myers. I that's just kind of the way I look at it, you know. Yeah, you know what? This is why I like to get people in here. I didn't know he had 10 targets last week, and by the way, that is a good sign. That's a very good sign. And I mean, I didn't know he had 10 targets. I'm gonna level with you. I didn't. So I also like the matchup against Jacksonville. That's really going to be good. The thing is with Myers, Chiefs have a good defense, but I can see a situation where it's a blowout and Myers gets some garbage points. But I didn't know this. So Dobbs is interesting. Look, I'm gonna level with you, Blank. I love Jerry Jeudy coming out of college. I had him as like 1A. I'd CeeDee Lamb as 1B. Yeah, I don't look very smart by admitting that, but this is a guy in college I thought was just going to tear up the NFL. And for whatever reason, he's just a lot of drops, a lot of inconsistency, but the talent's there. I mean, it really is. But I had no idea Dobbs got 10 targets last week. That is a good sign. But there's a lot of different weapons. So Caleb Williams and Darnold's so Ladd would be your flex. So if you make this trade, Ladd would end up being your flex. Oh, I'm sorry. Trade Mahomes. I misread this. I apologize. Trade Mahomes and Ladd for Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill would be your flex, and you would roll the dice with Caleb Williams and Darnold for the rest of the year. So Mr. Vengeance, I'm assuming you're new. I just don't recognize the name. Really cool. You can get more. Listen, you're probably looking at numbers. This is listen, you can get more. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is a big name, right? Ladd McConkey, not player I'm really fond of. Some people like him. Tyreek Hill, 1 carry, 5 yards, 1 reception, 8 yards last week against a bad Colts team. A game you needed to win. No, you can get a lot more. So I'm sorry. I thought you were getting Ladd McConkey and Tyreek Hill. That's why I misread that. You're giving up way too much for a guy that's done almost nothing this year. Even though you may not be using Mahomes, this is a big name. And what you want to do is that in a trade, oh wow, God, your receivers are awesome. I really want to see you get more. So Yeah, I mean, look, you already got some. Listen, you got some players. I mean, I'm gonna level with you, man. I mean, uh, I know Darnold's been playing really well. I don't have a lot of confidence in Caleb Williams. So he's probably he's putting up some fantasy points. Let me do this here because I'm a longtime Chiefs fan, and if you didn't get a chance to watch my video, um, this off season the Raiders got a Kermit the Frog doll, and they dressed it up like Patrick Mahomes, and he's going, "I'm a bitch," and with the doll, and so many people sent that to Patrick Mahomes. I know the Chiefs have a banged up receiving core, but I'm telling you right now, Patrick Mahomes is going to have a good game against the Raiders. If you can just hold off, and by the way, I know what you're thinking, like with Tyreek Hill coming, the Tua comes back, Tyreek Hill's value may skyrocket. I get that, but if you can do me a favor, just hold on to Mahomes for this week. You'll get a lot more trade value. And listen, you got some good receivers here. You don't need to give up a future NFL MVP or a former NFL MVP who's having a bad year, who could turn it up at any time. You don't want to give that up. So hold you can get more, man. I promise you can get more. Even though the trade kind of could make sense, and with Tyreek Hill, you can do some stuff, I'm sure, but you can get more. I know you can get more. So, but if you can't, can you just hold on for one more week? All right. Where was I at? Oh my God. How do you get this? Amon-Ra, Nico, and Justin Jefferson. By the way, like Nico, when he come back, oh Jesus Christ, you don't even need God. God, you aren't even playing Godwin, probably. Jesus. Um, my team with trades is Aaron Jones, A Chain, Amon-Ra, Nico. Okay, that's why I love a. Yeah. I mean, um, he has no spot on my team. Oh, okay. You haven't. Okay. Okay. Let me know if the Gibbs for JJ trade goes through, because that's a steal, assuming you're in a PPR league. And then I get why you want to add A Chain, and then the Olave for A Chain trade just makes a lot of sense. That would you have something really special. I would encourage you to add to your running back room, but yeah, this let me know when this goes through, especially to Gibbs for JJ, because this could help you win. Funk, what's up, brother? Yeah, I that's kind of what I'm thinking, is because um, they move it around. It's a little inconsistent, but I had no idea he got 10 touches. So yeah, thank you, Mr. Benji. Listen, you can check out go if you have in the video, my week 8 picks video. I set up with chapters, so you can just go to the Chiefs game if you want. But here's the drill. I couldn't show the clip. There's copyright infringements. So I wasn't able to show the clip. I really wanted to. I was kind of playing around with, like, doing it and showing the clip, but yeah. And by the way, the last time the Chiefs lost was against the Raiders on Christmas. So I'm even though I'm a Chiefs fan, and I know the Chiefs are not going undefeated this year, I can tell you this, that they're really going to be amped up for this game. And even though they have some injuries, um, I know Mahomes has not played really well, especially if you're a fantasy owner. But if you hold off just this week, even if Tyreek Hill blows up, you can still make that same trade. I just Trades are key to winning fantasy football leagues. So I want you to make a trade that benefits you, and this looks like it's going to benefit somebody else. Um, and you have some running backs. Let me know, by the way, if you stay in touch, please, and let me know how you're doing this year if you can. But definitely stay in touch with me Monday, and hopefully you're bragging about your fantasy football victory, and then you're like, okay, what do I do here from here? That's all. Yeah, I mean, you never know, man. I mean, I didn't know he got that many targets, to be honest with you. Should I accept? I get Debo and Pollard for JT and Flowers. Okay, so you first of all, you are aware that Debo's in the hospital. Okay, I want you to be aware. Um, Debo's in the hospital. Okay, this is kind of a fun trade because first of all, Parker, I'm I'm assuming you're in a PPR league. That's important because if you're not in a PPR league, Jonathan Taylor's value goes way up. He's not really used much in the receiving game, where Pollard is used more in the receiving game. So Debo and Pollard for Jonathan Taylor and Flowers in a PPR league, I think would benefit you. However, Debo's in the hospital. I have no clue. I am not a doctor. I don't know the severity of his illness. He barely played against Kansas City, but uh, you know, when you're hospitalized for something like ammonia, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but anyway, he's in the hospital for like a flu. Like they're talking about fluid buildup in the lungs, which is difficult because it's something that you just have to get over. I mean, with something like this, it could be a few days, it could be a few weeks. It's just one of those things, and um, it's kind of it's. I mean, I've gotten I had a illness like that, and it was like a few weeks. I didn't go to a doctor, but I was just bedridden for a couple days, and it didn't go away for a couple weeks. So it's hard to say, but with professional athletes, it's hard to say. It's hard to tell. Look, Dallas on Sunday night, it's a hard game not to get up for. So need a little more information. If it is a PPR league, I want you to be aware you are rolling the dice because Jonathan Taylor is a much better player than Pollard. But in PPR leagues, Pollard's used in the receiving game a lot more. It is a PPR. Okay. So you're getting a lot more value here for Pollard than Jonathan Taylor. By the way, Jonathan Taylor, I believe he is going to come back. As long as Anthony Richardson is the quarterback, he's going to have a lot of touches. He's listed per ESPN as questionable. I'm going to level with you because here's the drill. You have at Houston, at Minnesota as your next couple of games. That's a Sunday night game for Minnesota. I would not be surprised if he doesn't play this week and you hold him for Sunday night. Your bye's week 14, so you need him to come back. Your next couple games are just brutal, by the way, if you're the Colts. I mean, at Houston, at Minnesota, Buffalo at home, at the Jets, home against Detroit, and then you get the Patriots. So, you could. I'm going to warn you, if he comes back it wouldn't surprise me if he comes back. He's just racking up 100-yard games, but he's not used much in the receiving core. As long as Anthony Richardson's quarterback, you have almost. I mean, it's a mistake. I do think if Flacco becomes the starter, his value goes up a little more. As far as Flowers is concerned, they're using him a little more, but I would take Debo over Flowers, even though Debo's in the hospital right now. Keep in mind, you do have an injury. You do have an injury history with Debo. He's never really going to be 100%, but when he does play, he's very, very, very good. So there's some risks to this trade, but I like it. I like it. Let me know if it goes through. By the way, I don't recognize you. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and stay in touch with me. Let me know how you keep doing. Chubb could just blow up, man. I like your team, man. I really, really like your team. Yeah, it's really weird because they could do a lot of different things. I mean, Tucker Kraft could blow up. I don't know who their backup running back is, but he looks like he's got some speed and explosiveness. They could always give Jacobs 30 touches in a game. I think Christian Watson's the best player, but Jalen Reed's really explosive. Wicks, yeah, they got a lot of weapons, man. Gayton Elder, man, welcome, brother. I don't recognize the name. So, are we going to see the same CMC last year when he comes back? So the rumors are that he's going to come back in the next couple of weeks. It's so hard to say. Tendonitis in both knees. It's just difficult. I mean, I want to say yes. The freshness, the lack of wear and tear could be something that's positive. It really could. I've seen a lot of guys come back from injury and they're just not the same, though. I mean, one thing people got to realize about CMC is that in his career he's had some injuries. I mean, this is a guy that's taken some punishment. So I would love to say yes, but if I'm being really honest with you, I'm leaning towards no. And I also think that what the 49ers are going to do is because they got some other running backs that they like. I think what the 49ers will do is that he's not going to have the same workload. I mean, he's not going to be that 20-plus touch a guy. I think like the first couple of games, it'll be like, maybe 10 to 15 touches. We'll see Mason, maybe 10 to 15. That rookie from Louisville needs to get more touches as well. So I'm going to say no. But I'm pulling for him. I mean, he's a great player. Really fun player to watch. But we'll see what happens. I actually don't. I think it may be a couple weeks before we see him anyway, but we'll find out. Dave, my brother, man. Hey, listen, I'm gonna get back to this comment. I'm gonna take a quick commercial break. I'll be back with hour 2 of Afternoon Delight. So stay tuned. As Afternoon Delight is on a commercial break, we want to remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate of Dan Talks Football. I made my first $100 deposit and it was fast and easy, but check it out for yourself. The video is in the description below. Check out BetUS and start winning today. It really helps out when you hit that subscribe button. So if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you're notified about upcoming videos and live streams. Comments really help this community out, so drop a comment, ring the bell, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Wait, you haven't watched the award-winning NFL Week 8 picks video yet? How will you know who wins and what the score is? Okay, lucky for you, the link is in the description below. Finish watching the show, then watch this great video. Drop a comment on your predictions for all 16 games or just your favorite team. It really helps the algorithm out. Now, back to the show. All right. Yes. Hour 1 is in the books. We're going to start off hour 2 strong with my boy Dave. Week 8 lineup: Kyler, Adams, Cup. Anxious to see what he does on Thursday night. But John Robinson, Jacobs, Kraft, Pickens, Aubrey, Jets defense, benches Mooney, Javonte, Aaron Rodgers, Addison. Will you make any changes? See if I can get yeah, if you can get the Chiefs defense, do it. The Jets defense has not been playing well, but you have a good matchup against which is just a terrible New England team right now. I know Kyler Murray got the win and everything. You're going against a Miami defense I'm not really sold on, but they did pretty well last week. They did pretty well last week against a running quarterback. I almost want to tell you to put in Rodgers. I mean, I really almost want to tell you to put in Rodgers. Okay. Davante Adams, if that's the case, you would be double dipping. Just throw that out there. Love the running backs here, but John Robinson, Josh Jacobs. I also think Josh Jacobs against the Jacksonville defense is really, really a good matchup. But John Robinson, that's a tough one. Javonte Williams, remember they played on Thursday, and they're playing a bad Panther, like a record-breaking bad defense. And you're also Thursday. All right, so I really, really, really suggest you find a way to get Javonte Williams in that lineup. Look, you're 10 days, or you played on Thursday, you got the rest. Carolina's an all-time bad defense, and you're at home. Listen, get Javonte in there. Figure it out. Get Javonte in there. If you're going to go, I'm assuming it's Davante Adams, right? Okay, so here's okay. So if you're going to go with Adams, I would go with Rodgers. I understand how hard this is, but I'm going to level with you. Look, you got to get Javonte Williams in here somehow. Here's what I'd recommend, and you're not going to like it, but I would bench Cup. Look, it's Thursday night. You're playing against a brutal Vikings defense. I know that he's going to get targets. I know he's a like a potential superstar. I get it. I really, really get it. I mean, I'm gonna level with you. Let's just okay. Look, you're going against a good Giants defense. All right. I know you want to play Pickens. If you really think Cup's like gonna come back and be the number one dude, if you really think that, then bench Pickens, which I would not recommend. All right. Look, I'm just telling you this right now. If you do anything else, figure a way to get Javonte Williams. You gotta play him this week. Look what he did against a much better Saints defense, and he's got 10 days rest. The way that this game is going to go is he's probably going to get at least 20 touches, and I'd almost guarantee he's going to get a touchdown. I cannot decide. Doesn't matter. I would also lean towards Rodgers, maybe, possibly, but I don't hate you for going Kyler. Um, and the Jets defense is not bad this week. I mean, but yeah, I would go with the Chiefs defense. Let me know what you do, brother. Scorpio, what's up, brother? Trading Tyreek Hill for Cooper Kupp. That's interesting. You gotta do it before Thursday night. I'm assuming you're doing this because you want to play Cooper Kupp. I'm also thinking that you're frustrated with Tyreek Hill. This is a tough one because there's so many ifs involved. Okay, if Tua comes back and he's healthy, Tyreek Hill could be the fantasy football winner for you. Cooper Kupp comes back. There's no ceiling on what he could do, especially with Matthew Stafford. You're trading ifs for ifs. I don't Scorpio. I don't recognize the thumbnail. It's a cool name, by the way. I use this expression quite a bit. I say it's like, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream, chocolate or strawberry, and it's personal preference. There's no really right or wrong answer. And this trade, there's no real right or wrong answer. In Tyreek Hill, you have somebody who's not being used, but it's more the quarterback situation, which could be ironed out. With Cooper Kupp, is he healthy? I mean, he's not been able to stay healthy. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets hurt in this game, if he's not productive this game. I have no idea. And Tyreek Hill, I mean, it almost looks like he's like shutting down. I couldn't give you if this is a good trade or not. There's too many ifs. There's a lot of unknown factors. You probably pick Tyreek Hill first or second round, and you're just mad and frustrated. You're also thinking probably if you hold on and he blows up, you're going to hate yourself. I can't give you an answer on this one. There's a lot of ifs and a lot of unknowns. Really is. It's kind of just what your personal opinion is. I will say this. I do think he's going to play. Tua's going to play. If that's the case, Tyreek Hill could win you your fantasy football league. I'm just going to say that. I don't know what they're going to do with Cooper Kupp going forward, and I have no idea if I mean, there's no known thing if he's going to play. It looks like he is going to play. What's he going to be productive? By the way, I mean, tough Vikings defense. Let me know what you do, man. I really don't have a good answer for you, man. I really don't have a good answer. Dave says no. Drop Bates for Jennings. Also, Ingram is on the bench. Dropping okay, nice. Jennings is interesting. You also have Ingram on the bench. That's also interesting. But I'm Jets defense against New England's not bad. I do like the Chiefs defense this week. What do you think about my Kupp and Brian Thomas for AJ Brown? Ooh, okay. God, that's another good one, man. So, all right. So, there's a guy, Perry, who's in the chat. He's been telling me since March, Brian Thomas Jr. is the best receiver coming out of this draft. He's been saying that since March, and he looks like he's right. Like there's an unlimited ceiling for Brian Thomas Jr. You just heard me talk about Cooper Kupp, and you don't know. Now, AJ Brown is a legitimate number one receiver, but you're on the same team with Saquon Barkley. I would advise against this. And the reason why I say that is that you may make this trade, and Brian Thomas Jr. may be more productive than AJ Brown. Brian Thomas Jr. is quickly becoming the number one in Jacksonville. You have a losing team that really needs to rebound, and he's quickly becoming the number one receiver for a pass-happy offense. I love AJ Brown, but keep in mind another thing that I'm thinking about is that I'm going to go the opposite of what I just said. When if Cooper Kupp comes back, and you could have potentially two number one receivers. Last week, I mean, granted, it's kind of unusual circumstances, but you threw for Philly threw for like 110 yards last week. I wouldn't recommend this. I get the logic behind it, but I'm telling you this. I'm stealing this from my boy Perry. Brian Thomas Jr. has unlimited potential, and he might already be the number one guy. I mean, he's putting up some really good numbers over the last couple of weeks. I'd hold on to both these guys. I don't know if I start Kupp on Thursday night or not, but hold on to Brian Thomas Jr. You may listen. Let's just take a look at the numbers, okay? Let's just do this. Let's just take a look at the numbers, because I think you may be a little surprised at what he's been doing lately. 5 for 89 and a touchdown last week against the Bears, only 3 for 27, but against the Colts, 5 for 122 and a touchdown. Houston, 6 for 86 and a touchdown. Had a touchdown his first game of the season. Look, 30 for 513 and 4 touchdowns in 7 games, and he's just learning. I mean, he's just growing. By the way, last 4 games, 3 touchdowns. And I'm over 300 yards. That's basically the last 4 games. He's averaging, over 75 yards and over a touchdown. I mean, over half a touchdown. So, if I was you, I would really hold on to Brian Thomas Jr. Hold on to that kid. Mondo 9969, what's up, my brother? Should I do Jalen Reed for James Cook? My running backs are Aaron Jones, Hunt, Mason, Pacheco, and Brooks. My wide receivers are Jefferson. Nice. Tyreek Hill, Shadir, Aduze, and Lazard. Okay, so I want to make sure I have this correctly. You're trading Jalen Reed and you're getting James Cook. If that's the case and you're getting James Cook, I really like it because I think James Cook really could be your number one guy. I love the fact that you got Hunt and Pacheco. Don't bank on Pacheco. Mason is a guy that I think still going to be wildly productive, but his value is going to drop. I love the fact that you got Brooks. So you have some talent at receiver, unknown with Tyreek Hill, but you have probably the number one receiver in football in Justin Jefferson. So I just want to make sure I have this correct, is that you're giving up Reed and you're getting Cook. If so, I really like that move. I really like that move. And what I also like is that you have some potential to make some more trades because you have an unknown factor with Jordan Brooks. I mean, you could get a guy. I've been saying this for a while. He's come back to practice. He may just be returning kicks. He may be getting 20 to 25 touches a game. You have no idea. So hold on to him. If you add James Cook, you have some real potential to make some really good trades down the line. I like it. Let me know what you do. Funk. So I saw a report the Lions have contacted Cleveland for both Smith and Garrett. Is this the season? Holmes remembers he came from the Rams and says F them. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Smith makes a lot of sense. Myles Garrett to Detroit really doesn't. I mean, you're eating a lot of money. Another thing about Myles Garrett is there's probably not a better athlete in the NFL than Myles Garrett, and I don't care. You can send me all the clips you want and everything. Myles Garrett's not a guy that's particularly interested in stuff in the run. I don't care what people say. You're going to have to give up a lot of draft compensation, and there's always been talk about Myles Garrett being a different type of guy. I'm just going to tell you this right now, Garrett. This could blow up in my face big time. I don't think Garrett's like a fit in Detroit. I could see Detroit doing something like this and it just blowing up in the face. Like Garrett becomes uninterested in stuff in the run. He's not that, that high effort player that Hutchinson is. He's just not. And I'm not saying he's not a guy that takes play. I'm not saying that at all. It's just Myles Garrett's a dude who can do anything on the football field he wants. He wants to get after the quarterback, and that's just what he does. And I think it'd be a bad fit. Smith makes a lot of sense. And you're right. You already gave up some trade capital already on some projects. So I'll be honest, Hassan Reddick makes more sense than anybody. But look, if you're Cleveland, you may be saying, "Hey, look, we have to build through the draft because we're going to move on from Watson." So we'll find out. AK, what's up, brother? My running backs: Hall, Kamara, Brown, Dobbins, Hunt, Chubb. Congratulations. Oh wow, nice room. Wide receivers: London, Neighbors, Godwin, Johnson, Schuster. My tight end Bowers and Hockenson. I need to go for a good wide. Yeah, you drop Godwin, and you're kind of in a weird situation because Godwin, you have to drop Godwin. Juju Smith-Schuster's not going to play. That said, you still got some good options: London, Neighbors, and Deontay Johnson. I mean, you got some guys that are going to be productive. Running backs, you got some good running backs. Yeah, here's what I would do, Dave. I would actually bench Cup and put Pickens in there. If you don't want to bench Cup, then yeah, I would do that. But look, I mean, you're playing a really tough you're playing a brutal Vikings defense. You have an unknown quantity there. But Javonte instead of picking, yeah, I'm telling you right now, Javonte Williams, look what he did against a much better Saints defense, and you're at home. You have a 10 days rest. Have you ever been to Denver? Like that thin air, that's a real thing. And if you're not acclimated to it, it's a little difficult. He's been in Denver for a few years now, so he's probably used to it. Denver could get up early in this game, and Javonte Williams could potentially have 30 touches in this game. I'm not exaggerating. So who should I go for? Okay, so here's the deal. You have some good options here because you have some good running backs. You got some really good running backs. You could make a trade for any one of these running backs. You can make a trade for a receiver. My suggestion is that you hold on to Dobbins, Hunt, and Chubb. You may be able to make a move for Kamara. You also may be able to hit the fantasy football waiver wire. I don't know your league and who's available, but some of the Bucks receivers, was it Trey Palmer? He may be available. McMillan, he may be available. You may luck out. Chris Olave may be available. I'm not a fan of MVS, but I guarantee he's available. Justin Watson for the Chiefs, not to be confused with Jalen Watson, who broke his leg or his ankle. He's out for the year. Justin Watson for the Chiefs wide receiver may be available. So what you're going to do is you're just going to drop Godwin. All right, so you're gonna have a roster spot. I would scour the waiver wire first because you have some good players. You shouldn't go. Here's why I encourage you is not go into panic mode and try to give up something, but you could give up Kamara or Brown and you can get a wide receiver in return. I mean, those are good options. You also have two really good tight ends that you can make a move for. I mean, you got some trade capital. What I would recommend is just dropping Godwin and seeing what's available on the waiver wire, getting somebody on the waiver wire, and then I would take a look at teams in your league that need a running back, and I would throw out Alvin Kamara and see what you can get in return. You could make a deal like Alvin Kamara and one of your tight ends. Maybe you got a Raiders fan that's in love with Bowers. I'm just throwing it out there because I think Hawkinson could be productive. You may be able to do a trade like Kamara and Bowers and get somebody like, I don't know, A.J. Brown, for example. So, Dalton, what's up, brother, man? Should I trade Bajan and Swift and Jalen Reed? Oh, I'm sorry. Should I trade Bajan for Swift and Jalen Reed, one PPR redraft, need a wide receiver? That's a tough one. I'm a look. Let me level with you. I loved DeAndre Swift coming out of college. When I found out the Chiefs drafted a running back, I was positive it was going to be DeAndre Swift and it was CEH, and I was disappointed. Chicago seems to have unlocked. They seem to have unlocked like DeAndre Swift key, the last couple of weeks. Now, I don't know if that's a long-term thing or not, but if they figured it out that they need to use Swift, this could be a home run. Now, the one thing about the Packers is Jaden Reed could be wildly productive he'll have some weeks where he does absolutely nothing. But John Robinson, in my opinion, is a definite running back #1 in fantasy football, especially in a PPR league. There is some risk involved here if you make this trade, but if you need a wide receiver, I like it because you're getting a really good running back in return. Are you dropping off? You are, but the one thing about Swift is that this is a guy with home run speed that Chicago needs to figure out how to use more often. With Reed, you're going to get some weeks where he does nothing. You're going to get some weeks that you have a wide receiver #1. So, hey man, this is what I'm here for, man. This is what I'm here for. Scorpio, you chime in anytime. I hope stay in touch and let me know what you do. My running backs besides Bajan, James Conner, ETN, wide receiver Cup, Waddle, J-Mo, and Pittman. Yeah, so you're aware. Oh God, I hate your receivers. Yeah, you have to do this trade because you have no idea what you're getting in Cup. You have no idea what you're getting in Waddle. J-Mo's out for a couple weeks, and as long as Anthony Richardson's the quarterback with the Colts, you have nothing. You need to make this move. I mean, ETN may not even play, so yeah, you got to make this move, man. Exactly. And by the way, I have no. That's the whole thing. Is Cooper Kupp? What are you getting? I mean, are you getting the 12 catch, 110-yard performer, or are you getting somebody who's a shell of himself who's trying to come back? You have no clue. Siobhan 1107. I played Mahomes. Probably didn't do well for you. Hall, A-Chain, D. Smith, Naku, Bigsby, and Juju week 7. I lost my match. Brother had, oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I get it. I understand. Would you trade Cup? And if you would, okay, so, okay, let me see here. Hold on here. This is a great question, Dave. Would you trade Cup and who would you have based on my team? Okay, so this is what I would do because I would keep Cup. Okay, the reason why you have no idea what you're going to get. You have no idea, no clue at all. You have absolutely no idea. I'm assuming it's Devontae Adams is what you got. There's a chance with Adams and Cup and Pickens, you have 3 #1 receivers, and you also have some good running backs. I would hold off. You have no idea what you're in. I would hold off, but I wouldn't play him this week, but I would hold off getting him. This means that you could have something, you could have nothing. See, here's the drill. I would not trade Cup. I'd hold on because you're not in a move where you need to do anything. You have a very solid team. There's no reason to roll the dice with Cup this week when you have some good options. And I think you have some excellent options. I mean, this is Devontae Williams. I firmly believe could win you your matchup. But I mean, I really think this could be a massive week for him. I really do. I would start Pickens over Cup. I would put Williams in the flex, and I would just stay in touch with me. And if I'm wrong, feel free to rip into me. But if I remember correctly, I advised you to play him. You did, and he did really. What did he get to 26 points last week? There's a good chance he beats that against a bad Panthers defense at home. In a game that you're probably going to have to, you're probably going into that 4-minute offense where you're going to milk the lead. And what do you want to do? Well, I got a 230-pound running back who's fresh and healthy. Shavon 1107. I am playing Tua, Hall, A-Chain, Purcell, Devontae Smith, Noku, Monty, Chiefs defense, Butker, My bench is Chase Brown, Hawkinson, Jacoby Myers, Mahomes, Juju, Tyron, Tracy, Vikings D. Any changes? Okay. Stay in touch with the injury report. There's no guarantee to us playing. No guarantee to us playing. Look, I get it. I really, really, really get it. I know Mahomes bitch in the ass. I know. I'm a Chiefs fan, but I'm gonna tell you what, I would make a lot of I would make a lot of moves different if I'm you. I would start by going off with Mahomes. If you didn't watch my video, there's the Raiders had in training camp last year, they had a Kermit the Frog that they dressed up like Mahomes, and the Raiders defensive backs are going. They put the puppet on, and he goes, "I'm a bitch," and it went viral, and so many people sent it to Patrick Mahomes. Even if Tua plays, I mean, he's going to be a little rusty. Do me a favor, start Mahomes. Okay. Pearsall's risky. But I get the logic. I would lean towards Myers myself, but roll. I see what you're doing. You want to roll dice. Okay. I know that I know it's a tough lineup. I know it's a tough matchup, especially against a good Steelers defense at home. But Tyrone Tracy is a guy that could have a really good game. I may want to consider him over A-Chain, but that's my. So here's the deal. I can argue a few things here for you, but if Hawkinson is available to play, let's take a look. If Hawkinson is available, I would start Hawkinson over Njoku. Njoku's beat up. Okay, Hawkinson probably not going to play. Okay, so go with Njoku. I understand. Just do me a favor. Start Mahomes this week. Start Mahomes this week. I can make an argument, by the way, with both A-Chain and Purcell, but I mean, I really could make some good arguments here with both of those. I mean, I'm kind of But let's do that. Just do me one favor. By the way, isn't Montgomery hurt? Okay, he's not on the injury report. Correction. I thought somebody mentioned in the chat that he's hurt. Because, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I can make a strong case that you should go with Brown, Myers, and Tracy instead of A-Chain, Purcell, and Monty. I can make that really strong case. But let me just do me a favor. I know it bit you in the ass. I know he threw 3 picks. I think he's either leading the league or tied for the league lead in interceptions. It's the worst 6-game stretch of his career. Dude, please start Mahomes this week. Anything else, I get it. You got Bigsby? Oh, you traded Bigsby. Yeah. Oh God, that's a tough one. But yeah, I get it. I get it. I actually, tell you the truth, I would figure a way to get Myers. I I mean, he's a rookie. I think he had 1 or 2 catches. Let's take a look. What did Purcell do? I mean, 3 receptions, 21 yards. I mean, I would play Myers instead, but I really would play Myers. But please do me one favor, man. Just start Mahomes. Nothing else. Just start Mahomes. You'll thank me. You will thank me. Going with Kyler or Rodgers. Adams picking Bajan. Yeah. And by the way, if Cooper Kupp has a good game, I want you to come back Friday and chew me out. And the good news is that if he does have a good game, you have an opportunity to sell high or to make some moves. But I like this a lot better. Feel free to chew me out. If I mess up, chew me out Friday. But I'm dedicating myself to helping you win. And I'll be honest with you, like I mean, I didn't have a chance to watch that Arizona game, so I have no idea what to expect. But that Miami Arizona game, I have no idea what to expect. I have no clue. I just let's just here's what I'm looking at though. Okay, here's what I'm looking at Indianapolis and in Miami. Richardson 14 carries, 56 yards, 10 out of 24 for 129. I know it's not the same thing, but I really know it's not the same thing. I'm fully aware, but Miami, the one thing that they do have is they got speed on that defense. And by the way, this is what he did against the Chargers. 14 out of 26, 145, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 6 carries, 64 yards and a touchdown. The rushing is a little better. The one thing I will say is that the Chargers defense is better than Miami, but the one thing Miami does have is a lot more speed. I would not blame you if you go with Kyler, but the one thing about Rodgers is that he's not been unproductive. A lot of people feel like, because they're losing, he's just been, playing terrible. That's not really the case. I mean, his numbers aren't terrible. I mean, they're not great. I'm talking fantasy numbers, okay? I mean, last week in a loss against the Steelers, 24 out of 39, 276. He did have 2 picks, but he did have a touchdown. 276 is, I mean, he's consistently throwing. I mean, these are his last 3 games, 6. I mean, in Minnesota, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, these are really good defenses. All right. I mean, he's consistently putting up yards, and he's just going to get better. I mean, it's just getting better. But let me know what you do, man. And by the way, if I'm wrong about Kupp, I want you to yell at me on Friday. Drop Juju or Wendell for Purcell. Drop Kelsey or Ingram for Otten. They're both on the waiver wire. Oh, God, I can see Otten's value going up, but you have 2 good tight ends already. I'll be honest with you. I don't want you to drop Kelsey or Ingram. You got 2 good guys, but you really don't need both. If you pick Otten up, you got to make some moves. Juju or Wendell for Purcell. Juju's not going to play. I've never been big on Wendell, but I mean he's healthy and he's playing. With Juju, you're always going to have some injury issues. If these are my only options, I'm dropping Juju, picking up Purcell. I think there's some better options in Purcell, but that's what I would do. Drop or stash Kamara. You want to stash Kamara. If you have I would make this move personally. That's just me, but I have a huge man crush on Breece Hall, and I am one of those rare people. I'm looking at the Jets, and I think the offense and the team production is going to go way up. I think with Kamara is I've been seeing him slow down, and they got a guy, Kendre Miller. He's a third-round pick from I think it was last year. He just came off of IR. I think they're going to start using him a little more. I could see it. I could also see a situation where Kamara is traded. So, yeah. Okay. So it's funny because, yeah. Don't forget about the puppet. I bring that up in my video, so please start that. Like, is he healthy? Because I didn't see him on the injury report. So yeah, I saw the fumble. I thought, okay, so I thought when I saw the fumble, they were like, we're going to go with Gibbs, but I didn't know it was our injury issue. Yeah, you're in good shape, man. I mean, I really like the Rogers Adams double dip, and then here's what I'm thinking is that since you're double dipping there, I'm just trying to get some steady, consistent points on your team. That's why I kind of like the Pickens, but I want you to keep Cup because if he becomes that number one, this team could be unstoppable. I mean, you have a really good team here, really good team. Let me make sure I got everything. Yeah, Perry. I did not like the way they were using Swift in Detroit. I always thought they really mismanaged him. I kept on seeing him run between the tackles. I never thought he was that type of guy. I really liked his receiving ability. It's kind of funny because I think there's a lot. Swift is very similar to Gibbs, but you used them completely different. I never understood that. I also know that he had some issues staying healthy. But really, they're the same type of player. I liked Swift coming out of college more, and I like Gibbs. If I'm being really honest with you, I never understood why Detroit didn't really use Swift right. That was my opinion. But one thing I don't like is that they use Gibbs in between the tackles as well. That's something that I would like to see them do less of. But I really can't complain about the Detroit Lions offense. I mean, this is one of the best offenses in the National Football League. So nitpicking about how they do things offensively seems kind of silly. I mean, you're talking about one of the best offenses in the National Football League. So. But yeah, you have some good things. You have some good things going on. And I think he's a great player. I really do. I think he's a great player, and as long as Chicago keeps using him and using him correctly, I think fantasy wise. Apollo Jakester, man, I love the thumbnail. I don't recognize the name. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. I don't recognize you. George Pickens or Devontae Smith for the rest of the year. I'll be honest with you. I like Pickens quite a bit. I mean, I have to eat a lot of crow because I've been saying all summer and for the first part of the season, you got to go with Justin Fields over Russell Wilson. You got the younger kid, you got the bigger upside, you got the running ability. There's a reason why Denver gave Russell Wilson $47 million and he's playing in Pittsburgh. There's a very big reason for this, and it just made sense. Like to go with Fields, in my opinion, and then Russell Wilson plays, and he proved me wrong. I kept on trying to that play Justin Fields was no. I mean, he just did things that he just made plays that Justin Fields can't. He just made throws that Justin Fields at this point in his career doesn't have the ability to do. He has touch that Fields has never shown ever. And I'll be honest with you, when if the Steelers score 30, they're going to beat anybody. I mean, that team looks scary. George Pickens has unlimited potential there. He's always been kind of a hot and cold guy. He's kind of got a kind of a. There was a lot of talk that him and Deontay Johnson couldn't get along, and they had to move one or the other, and it was a cap situation. Plus, they think that they have a star in Pickens, and Pickens could be a star. Devontae Smith is a number 2 guy that there's a reason why the Eagles traded for was it Jahar Dotson? He was a former first-round pick of Washington. Didn't work out in Washington. But when you trade for a receiver and you got 2, I'm kind of thinking they're not completely all in on Devontae Smith. It's kind of my thought process. I love him as a player. I mean, I really do. But I mean, what's his what's the ceiling? A solid number 2, where Pickens is a potential superstar. So short answer, go with Pickens. Tyler Sperry, welcome back, brother. Thoughts on Bateman? 6 targets last 3 games in Otten over Ferguson. I love Bateman as a player. This is a guy coming out of Minnesota. I thought it was a great fit. But I mean, I kind of was warning people when he was getting more targets than Flowers that Flowers is the guy, and they're going to start using likely more. He's one of those guys that you're going to see stretches like this, but at any point in time, for example, they're going to play Cleveland. All right, it wouldn't surprise me if he has 7 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown next week. You're always going to get this type of off production. If I'm a fantasy football owner, I would move on from Bateman because I always like getting guys that are going to be consistently productive. I don't remember your roster, but you got to have some better options. Now, keep in mind, it wouldn't surprise me if 100 yards and a touchdown against Cleveland next week. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But you're going to get production like that. Otten over Ferguson. I'm going to go back to an old expression that I've used many times, including earlier today, a handful of times. It's, what's your favorite flavor? Do you want to go with chocolate, or do you want to go strawberry? I don't think there's a wrong answer here. Keep in mind that the one thing I do want to emphasize is that I lean towards Ferguson, and the reason why, in Tampa, Baker's playing phenomenal. He's putting up some great numbers. You have a defensive-minded coach, and you got 3 good running backs. In Dallas, you have an offensive-minded coach that's always going to prioritize throwing the football over running the ball. Bowles isn't that guy. I like Otten quite a bit. If you decided you want to go Otten over Ferguson, I would not be mad at you at all. I would not be mad at all. Wouldn't even blink. If you got both, I would lean towards Ferguson because you have a coach that wants to throw the ball. You have an offensive-minded team. So, who's Baker have to throw to? I firmly believe that they're going to sign DeAndre Hopkins very soon. They drafted Jalen McMillan in the third round out of Washington. Trey Palmer's a guy that has a lot of potential athletically. But I really think that you're going to see Tampa throw to the running backs. Matter of fact, there was a few times Rachaad White and Bucky Irving played at the same time. You wouldn't surprise me if you see more of that. So that's just kind of my thought process. Like I said, I wouldn't blame you if you want to go Otten and thinking he's going to get more production than Ferguson. I wouldn't blame you at all. It like I said, it's just a question of, what's your personal preference? Like you may like chocolate. I like strawberry better. That's just my personal preference. I would rather have a guy in an offense that I know is going to be throwing the ball versus an offense that Todd Bowles wants to be more of a running team, and they've made a big emphasis this year that they're going to be more of a running team, and that's helped Baker Mayfield's production. Don't get me wrong. So I don't blame you if you want to do this. I don't blame you one bit. I lean towards Ferguson, but I don't hate it. Daniel Caps, what's up, brother, man? New to the show. I don't trust Murray, so I'm going to go after Tua, but drop Kirk, Tobler, or Douglas to get him. Thanks, man. Daniel, welcome, brother, man. It's a cool name. Cool name. I can't tell what the thumbnail is, but obviously a cool name. I'm glad you're here, man. Hopefully hit that subscribe button. I don't blame you for not trusting Kyler Murray. You're going to go after Tua, roll the dice. I get that. But you're going to drop, I'm assuming you want to drop Christian Kirk, Jalen Tolbert, or Douglas to get him. I'm going to read these other comments. I want to make sure I have your correction right. Also, is Rachaad White and auto start with Edmonds and Goodwin out, PPR. I would lean towards it. I'm a big Rachaad White fan, and then it took me a while, but then once Bucky Irving got into the offense, like the offense does look better with Bucky Irving than Rachaad White, but Rachaad White is bigger. I like the fact they're using both running backs in the offense. I would lean towards it. So you want to drop Christian Kirk, Tolbert, or Douglas to get I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, you got three bad options here. Out of these guys, I can make a strong case, for all to keep all three, to keep each one of these guys. If you're asking which one should you drop, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really like any one of these guys. I'm gonna level with you though. I had a man crush on Christian Kirk coming out of Texas A&M, and I was really impressed with him last year. When he went down with an injury, you could tell that the Jaguars' offense and team just kind of regressed big time. Remember, they started off 7-3 and then just collapsed. And a lot of that was Christian Kirk, I think, missed the final 4 games of the season. He looked like he was going to be a number one, but what they did in the draft, I really liked. They traded down. They got Brian Thomas Jr. I didn't think he was going to be this good this fast, but he's the number one guy. Christian Kirk, when Jacksonville signed him, I really thought was best suited to be a number two. Played like a number one, and has upside. Jalen Tolbert went to South Alabama, and I just athletic, had everything you want athletically. It was a Jerry Jones signing, size, speed, athleticism, just raw. Put him in a pass happy offense, let him learn. It just for whatever reason things haven't come together. I really like both these guys. I would drop Douglas. Just keep in mind, I like Tolbert coming out of the draft. All the athletic tools in the world just hasn't come together. Christian Kirk, this is a guy you can use all over in that Jacksonville offense. And now that, he's not going to hit that production that you want, but ideally none of these guys, you're talking about dropping these guys. So, which one you drop, I'd drop Douglas, but keep in mind, it's only because I had man crushes on Christian Kirk and Jalen Tolbert coming out of the draft. So I don't think that's the best way to answer a question, is to talk about how much I loved guys in college, but I also see upside with these guys. I really don't with Douglas. That's just my opinion. As far as Tua, just be warned. He, number one, he may not start. And you got some rust also you got to shake off. So let me know what you do. Yeah, he came from the Rams. Well, actually, what happened, if I remember correctly, he was with Kentucky. Did a lot of work. I believe he coached Will Levis and did some work with Levis and the Kentucky offense. Came to the Rams. The Rams really liked him. Then he went back to Kentucky, and then he came back this year. And Kentucky's offense and in his recruiting process, he's. I'll be honest with you. This is a guy that might end up being a head coach. So, but this is a creative offensive mind, so I kind of like the Rashad White. I have a huge crush on it. So since you don't know about me, I moved to Vegas in February. I lived in Kansas City for my whole life. Rashad White's from Kansas City. He went to a local high school called Raytown Town. You never heard of it. It's kind of a crappy town that's just outside of Kansas City. And I love this story. If you're from Raytown, you're not going to a Power 5 school. I trust me on this. And he had to go to junior college, and he went to Arizona State. And when he was at Arizona State, he wasn't, he was like third string for the longest time. And then when he got his chance, he just produced. I love this guy. I'm always going to pull for him. Keep in mind, I grew up in a place called Lee Summit, Missouri, which is connected to Raytown. So, I got a soft spot for Rashad White. So now, hey, listen, Daniel, anytime, man, anytime, brother. That's what I'm here for. By the way, on my social media links, Instagram, Twitter, or X, which one you want to call it, you can follow me. I will follow you back. You can DM me if you have any questions. You can go old school. dantalksfootball@yahoo.com. You can also email me if you have any questions. You can also drop a comment in this video, any one of my videos. I will get back to you. I'm live Monday through Friday. However, no show tomorrow. Just I got a kind of a personal situation I have to handle tomorrow. First time doing the show that I'm going to miss the show is tomorrow. But I'll be back with Fantasy Football Thursday. It's normally Fantasy Football Wednesday and Thursday, but I'm here Monday through Friday to answer any of your fantasy football questions. You hit me up anytime. Let me know what I can do to help. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, but I will be back with hour 3 of Afternoon Delight, so stay tuned. Oops, wrong button there. I'll get it right here. Here we go. As Afternoon Delight is on a commercial break, we want to remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate of Dan Talks Football. I made my first $100 deposit and it was fast and easy, but check it out for yourself. The video's in the description below. Check out BetUS and start winning today. It really helps out when you hit that subscribe button. So if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you're notified about upcoming videos and live streams. Comments really help this community out, so drop a comment, ring the bell, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Wait, you haven't watched the award-winning NFL Week 8 picks video yet? How will you know who wins and what the score is? Okay, lucky for you, the link is in the description below. Finish watching the show, then watch this great video. Drop a comment on your predictions for all 16 games or just your favorite team. It really helps the algorithm out. Now, back to the show. Yes! Hour 2 is in the books. Welcome to the final hour of Afternoon Delight, the show where all questions are answered and anything goes. Special Fantasy Football Tuesday edition. By the way, just so you know, there will be no show tomorrow. I have a kind of a personal matter I have to take care of, so no show tomorrow. However, if you DM me or email me or drop a comment in any one of my videos, I will answer it. Definitely before Thursday and definitely before Thursday Night Football. So, it's Brady. It's Brady with owner. Oh, the thumbnail. It's Brady with the owner. Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. It's hard to tell. The way it's set up here, it's really small. He's just on my bench collection. Yeah, full disclosure, certain players I like more than others, but I'm always going to be a big Rachaad White fan. Big Rachaad White fan. Scott Harasium. I'm butchering that name, man. I am so sorry. I don't recognize you, so welcome to the channel, brother. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Stroud or Murray rest of the season. I like Stroud quite a bit. This is just my thing. With Murray, you're not really getting the steady production. I mean, you're always going to get these highlight reels. You're always going to have these games where he looks out of this world. You're getting a lot more steady production out of Stroud. However, it looks like they're leaning towards more of the running game. You're not going to get that extreme production. I don't think you're going to see like 4,800 yards and 40 touchdowns. You're not going to see anything like that. I would definitely go Stroud. Look, Nico Collins is coming back. You have a better offensive line. I like D'Amico Ryans quite a bit. I'm not sold on. I'm drawing I know who he is. He came from Philly. I'm just drawing a blank on the guy's name, but I would go with Stroud. I really would. I think you'll be fine. I'll level with you. There's going to be a few weeks where Murray's going to do some things that's going to make you wonder why you have him on the bench. And I don't think Stroud's really going. Remember, what was it last season? He had like that. Was it last season or his rookie year? He had like the 473 and 5 touchdowns. Like, don't you're not getting that. But you know, you're in pretty good shape. I think you're in pretty good shape with Stroud. So. Nino, what's up, man? With all the trade rumors and health issues alone, would you try flipping Cup for DK or London? Yeah, absolutely. The one thing about DK Metcalf, he's always been wildly inconsistent, but this year he has been consistent. I mean, there's no ceiling on DK Metcalf. I mean, you know, he's 6'3", 230, maybe the fastest player in the NFL. You have an offense that wants to throw the ball, and you know Geno Smith's kind of a gunslinger. So with Drake London, always been wildly productive. Wildly talented, just not steadily productive. It seems like they kind of unlock things with him. I'll level with you. I think Cousins is a much better quarterback than Geno Smith. I would lean DK over London, but either or. I mean, let me ask you this here. Is this just something you're thinking about, or did somebody offer you one of these guys and you have Cup and you're thinking about making the trade? Cam, yes. I remember. Okay, Cam, forgive me. I know I remember it, but I don't remember where it was. In the chat. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I don't want to. I want to make sure I answer all questions, so I do remember this. I just don't remember where it is in the chat. Can you do me a favor? Can you just give me a recap? So, and can you recap for everybody else, because I remember it was a while back. If you don't mind. Congratulations, by the way. Adrian, do you think CD will rebound to wide receiver #1 this year? Yes. Should I look to trade him? I would not. I recently picked up Dak after somebody dropped him. He's in a slump, but we saw last year he took off. Like Adrian, yes. Somebody dropped Dak and you got CD Lamb. Should you look to trade him? No. Keep them both. Look, you're in a pass-heavy offense with a pass-heavy coach. You're in a situation where you need to win. Both of them are signed for an insane amount of money. Both are going to be Dallas for a long time. You are going to be in good shape. You're also fresh off of a bye. You're in good shape. You're in really good shape. My wide receivers are stacked, but I have no bench. I traded Jahmyr Gibbs for Jamar. Oh, yes. You're in a PPR league, I'm assuming, okay? And have Cup coming back after week 2. I could have. Oh my God. If you're in a league, if you're in a PPR league with CD Lamb and Jamar Chase on the same team, you are in fantastic shape. You please, Adrian, please do me a favor and stay in touch with me. This is just absolutely fantastic. I can't believe somebody just dropped Dak Prescott. I know he's off of a bye, and I'm sorry. There's something like really bugging me on the back of my neck, but yeah. It was the JT and the Njoku for Garrett Wilson, Chase Brown, McBride, Pop Douglas, and Jordan Brooks. Okay. Yeah. You got the Wilson, Brown, McBride, Pop, Douglas, and Brooks. If I'm correct, you got all those guys. That's a nice trade. And I'm dying for the debut, Jonathan Brooks. Like I cannot emphasize this enough. Like there's a chance this guy could be insane. So it appears that so I mean ESPN's not the best source, but it appears that he's going to make his debut this Sunday, and I don't expect him to play a lot, but the next two games against the Saints and the Giants, he'll play. So you could really just luck out here and just hit a home run with Brooks. You could also get a guy that does nothing for you, but this is such a good trade. Yeah, man. The Smitty probably got you what, 8.5, 9. What's the touchdown? The only reception, I can't remember, but hamstrings are weird. Could be one game, it could be 4. I have no idea. Purdy, Gibbs, Mixon, Higgins, Reed, Bowers, Wilson, Braylon Allen, Brown, C. Brown, May, McBride, Ladd, and Jordan Brooks. I like it. Can you do me a favor if you say I believe in Drake May taking over? Do me a favor if you don't mind, if you do want to go with Drake May, can you wait one more game? Look, Sunday Night Football, I think it's going to be a fun game, but I understand the Jets defense hasn't been playing that well, but no, okay, thanks, man. I was saying just wait 1 week. And the reason why I say that is the longer the more he plays, better he's going to be. But and these are tough matchups coming up, by the way, at Tennessee, at Chicago, but I expect him to be better. The Smitty says play him. I really would. I would really like to see you go with Purdy this week, and I know he didn't do much against Kansas City, but and this is a Sunday night game. I know he could be without both his receivers, but you still got Kittle, you still got some good running backs, you still got some receivers that made plays before, so I would encourage you to play Purdy this week. And look, I mean, I'm not insulting Dallas when I say this. The Chiefs defense is better than the Cowboys defense right now. But yeah. Oh, okay. You have an 8-man. You have an 8-man team. So let me try talking. Yeah, it's a PPR. It's an 8-man team, so teams are stacked. I like to say I was one of the top 2 best drafted teams. I always do tons of research before draft. The pot is 2K. So definitely, Adrian, please stay in touch with me. I want you to win. So the pot's 2K. Every league's a little different. I've been in leagues where first place is 75, first place is 50. A guy was trying to get me in a league where winner takes all, period. One winner and that's it. Since you have an 8-man team, how's it work? 75, 25? If you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. I mean, but my guess would be it's probably like a 1, 2, 3 situation. Top 4 make the playoffs. Stay in touch. And this this off season, I'm going to do more videos on how to attack the draft, how to do trades, things like that. I didn't do that a couple years ago. I did a sleeper video. This year I plan to do a lot of videos before the draft to tell you how to attack the draft, players, rookies to look out for. I have a buddy of mine who's in a defensive league. Some people have hit me up about dynasty leagues, so I'm going to attack those as well. But I'll have some more preseason videos coming out next year that I didn't do this year. So I got Cup in the 4th round after reaching, took a risk. I felt like a genius after his week under. yeah. And then, yeah. I get it. But you get him back, and you should please stay in touch with me. Let me know how you do. Would you trade away Henry for Justin Jefferson, other running backs like Kyron, Mason, CMC, Chase Brown, and Dowdle? Man, God, that's a tough one. I'm assuming World of Goose. That's a cool name, man. I don't recognize you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you don't mind. Well, first of all, you got Kyron Williams, a guy I absolutely love, and I'm assuming you're new, but earlier in the year I was kind of trashing Rico Dowdle, but I like the way he's been playing. He's actually been surprising. Mason, I think, is going to be on the downside, but you have potential upside with CMC, so I'm glad you got both. I really thought Zach Moss would be the main guy, but they like Chase Brown a lot more in Cincinnati for whatever reason. Derrick Henry might be the NFL MVP. I would do this though, if you're in a PPR league, because if you're not in a PPR league, don't do it. And I say that because Derrick Henry's not going to be on the same, things are going to go, for those of you that don't know, Derrick Henry's numbers are just insane. I would call him my NFL MVP, but let me ask you something really crazy here. Are you just spitballing, or did somebody send you this offer? Because if somebody sent you this offer, I would see if you can get Justin Jefferson plus and really win this trade. Because Derrick Henry is possibly the NFL MVP, and whoever is offered, if you're being offered this trade, knows that. In a PPR league, I think Justin Jefferson has the more value, believe it or not. Derrick Henry is had a touchdown every single game. That's not going to last. He's getting 25, 20 touches a game. That's sooner or later it has to decline. Look, you can talk about everything that he does, but bottom line, he's a 30-year-old running back with a lot of wear and tear, and we're halfway through the season. Look, I'd love to see Derrick Henry continue with the same type of production, but let's be real. What's more realistic? He's gonna what's his yards per carry right now? Like 6.4 yards a carry? Come on. Really, it's going to last? Because let's do this here. And first of all, he's playing against believe it or not, it's a really good Browns defense. But look at this schedule coming up for Baltimore. You got some really good defenses. You got at Cleveland, Denver, Bengals, Steelers, Chargers, Eagles. Is he okay? So what did he do against the Bucks, a team that's not had a great defense? He did have this receiving touchdown, not really a threat to catch the ball. 6 catches all year. Or, hold on, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the last 5. I apologize. All right, so 2 receiving touchdowns. 7 receptions. Not a factor, but look at this. 873 rushing yards, 6.5 yards a carry, and 8 touchdowns. Is that sustainable? Of course it's not. You're doing what I like to refer to as selling high. And what I'd like to see you do, you have to tell me, if somebody offered you this trade, what I'd like to see you do is counter and see if you can get something else. See if you can get something more. But would I make this move? The answer is yes. I would. And there's a good chance you make this move. You got some running backs that are going to be wildly productive, especially if CMC comes back. And you now have a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. Let me know what you do. Is there any ways to tell what kickers could have good games? Yes, absolutely. There's a few things that you want to do. Number 1, weather condition. What kickers are playing in domes. I like teams that have struggling offenses, believe it or not. The high-powered offenses usually are kicking extra points. But yeah, there is a way. Like let's take a look at the games going on here. Minnesota at LA. LA pretty much in LA. I think it's like a retractable roof or something like that. Anyway, weather's not going to be a factor. You have some good defenses. You can say the Rams aren't a good defense, but I would like both of these kickers here. All right. At Cincinnati, at Cleveland, wouldn't like the kickers, possible weather issue. Again, you have struggling offenses, but I wouldn't be like all in here on the Eagles, Bengals, even Justin Tucker. Now, Justin Tucker's interesting because I like Justin Tucker because you're in a bad defense, but weather could be a factor in Cleveland. Tucker could have a good game, though. At Detroit is interesting. The Lions kicker could have a monster game. The Titans kicker could have a monster game as well, but that's something you got to think about. New York at New England, that could be a field goal festival. I'm not really fond about that. At Tampa Bay, you could have a weather issue. You never know in Tampa Bay. I didn't check the weather report, but normally when I'm like doing some sports betting, I do check the weather report. The big issue that I'm looking at is high winds. A torrential, like downpour rain will affect things, but Dallas at San Francisco off of a bye. The Dallas kicker could have a monster game. Carolina at Denver to thin air. Both Carolina and Denver's kickers could have big games. Keep an eye out, though, with Denver. You have to pay attention. Wind, any kind of participation. You're playing mid-October. You never know what's going on. Kansas City at the Raiders. Both those kickers I would strongly recommend. Indianapolis at Houston. That might be a smart game. Take either kicker. But yeah, there are ways. I like kickers that play indoors. Offenses that are struggling traditionally, I like a little more. Defensive-minded head coaches, your Harbaughs. Traditionally, a guy like maybe Antonio Pierce, but he gets a little aggressive against Kansas City. A lot of teams do. I haven't checked the weather report, but the Steelers kicker, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, but Mike Tomlin, a defensive-minded coach, Steelers kicker has been gold this year. Dan Quinn, nobody scored more points this year than the Washington kicker. Check the weather report, but Chicago at Washington, that would be a good game. So, Wait for what? First week he scored 61 points. Last week he scored 64. I'm playing against him against the beat up Jets. I still would wait. I mean, Drake May. I mean, look, and the reason why I say wait is that I like Purdy on Sunday night against a beat up Cowboys defense. So yeah, I would, but um 61 points and he scored 64 and you're playing, I mean, you know what? I wasn't aware he did that well in fantasy football. I mean, take a look. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Against Jacksonville, 26 out of 37, 276, 2 touchdowns. That is a good number. And 3 carries, 18 yards. Uh, 243 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks against Houston. These are good numbers, man. I mean, you got a good point. You do got a good point. This is why I want people in the chat. But yeah, I would I still would go with Purdy. I didn't know Drake May put up those numbers. I really didn't. I hope so too, man. I hope so too. Since that Bowers and McBride, I was trying to move McBride for a receiver. That's smart. I was thinking about Pickens. Yeah, I would definitely do this. So he sent you this. Okay. Let me see if I want to make sure I have that. Yeah, I would. I would. I understand if you're going to move them, get consistent production, but keep in mind, you may want to hold off, but you could get some consistent production. I apologize because I'm drawing a blank on where this was. Okay. So he sent you this. It's full PPR. Another guy is offering Breece Hall for Henry. Well, don't take Breece Hall for Henry, but what I'd like to see you do is whatever else, like get more. But I do like Justin Jefferson better. But look, you're getting multiple offers for Derrick Henry, and you're in a situation where you sell high. Okay, you got Breece Hall. That's not a good trade. All right. Justin Jefferson's solid, but you can do better. Since you got multiple people offering multiple things, I would really go out of my way to let them know, hey, look, I'm getting multiple offers here. I really like Derrick Henry. I need to get something more and see what you can do. It's a 1K. Okay, so 50%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, let me know what I can do to help. Let me know what I can do for help. There you go. You just won that trade. You get Pollard, who's a solid 3-down back. You get Justin Jefferson, or if you want to tell me CeeDee Lamb or Chase is better, that's fine. But you locked in number 3, top 3 receiver. You get a really good running back. It's a 2-for-1 deal. Let me know what you do. Let me know what you do. Because I like this move. You're doing what I like to refer to as selling high. Yeah, you make this move, you're in really good shape. I'm assuming you're doing well in your league. So roster: Jordan Love, A-Chain, Mason, Kyren, Chubb, Montgomery, CD, Jamar, Kupp, Sutton, and McBride. I picked up Mason 2 weeks before the NFL started. I had feeling McCaffrey wasn't healthy. So yeah, you're smart move. All right. Here's I like Jordan Love. You don't have another quarterback. I'm drawing a blank when Green Bay's bye is in a few weeks. Okay. You don't have a backup quarterback? Oh, you have Dak. Jesus Christ, you have Dak. Oh God, you know what? I don't know who to tell you to play, man. I kind of like the Dak CD double dip on Sunday night. Jordan Love playing against a bad Jags defense. I also like. That's a tough situation to be in. I mean, I'd love to know what you're going to do, because that's a good situation to be in, but that's a tough one. Breaking news: Andy Dalton and Bob. Wow, Steve, thank you very much for keeping me updated on that. I'm going to check out ESPN, which confirms this. Let me see here. Nobody. So right now, it's unknown how this is going to affect Andy Dalton's availability. There's no information other than it's an automobile accident. Steve, thank you so much for bringing this. I mean, that's one of the things about doing a live show for 3 hours. Things like this happen. His wife and 3 children and dog were involved. Nobody is hurt. Nobody is nobody had to. I've been in a few car accidents. I've been in a couple where I was a little sore and didn't bother me. I bounced my head. The last car accident I was in, I bounced my head off the window and had a really nasty concussion. It really affected me for the next couple of days. I was in bad shape for a couple of days. You never know. But being that they're talking about being in a car accident. I think if there was a serious injury, it would have said with serious injuries. You can usually tell that right away. I mean, so. Yeah, we got to fix this, man. Yeah, so you're 3-4. If you're 3-4 and you have Derrick Henry right now, we have to improve your roster. So getting a number 1 receiver is really, really important. We need to fix some things here. Let me know if this comes through or not. I was trying to see here. You increase. Here's the good news. Here's the good news. You get a chance with CMC coming back, and Kyron Williams' production is going to go up. So you have some production here. But there's with these running backs, and I understand you got CMC probably first overall pick. So we got 2 things. You got to have some. If you're 3-4, you whiffed on quarterback more than likely. This isn't me beating you up. We need to get you. We need to get you 8-man 1K pot roster. Okay, we need to get you in the money. Okay, so your trade hasn't gone through. Oh, you got Mahomes. No wonder. Okay. All right, let's fix some things here, okay? Jaden Daniels, you probably played Mahomes over Daniels. which I get, and probably bit you in the butt. Brian Thomas Jr., nice. Okay. Njoku's been injured. Tyreek Hill, yeah. Goddard, Juju's out this week too. So, all right. So once this, oh, okay. All right. So here's some. All right. So let me know if you make that trade and if it goes through, because I'm gonna give you some crazy advice. Start Mahomes over Jaden Daniels this week. Just please do me a favor. Listen, I'm a longtime Chiefs fan. If you haven't watched the video, the Raiders got a Kermit the Frog puppet that they dressed up like Mahomes, and he's playing with the puppet. He's like, "I'm a bitch," and it went viral. Believe me, Mahomes is going to remember that. Like, and you. By the way, Jaden Daniels may not even play, so even if Jaden plays, start Mahomes this week. Okay. Obviously, you start Derrick Henry if the trade doesn't go through, but if it does go through, I would start Pollard. Kyren Williams, I mean that Vikings defense is tough, but you got to play them. Please tell me you have Jamar Chase. God, if you have Jamar Chase and now you add Justin Jefferson, we got to get you winning. You have a good enough team that you can start tearing some things up. If I remember right, I know Goddard had an injury issue. I think he's fine for this week. I don't think he's okay. Goddard's questionable, and Njoku's been banged up all year. I think he's off the injury report, but yeah, he's off the injury report. So you have to go with Njoku. Had a good game last week. All right. Go with Mahomes. Let me know if the trade goes through, because if it does go through, I would start Pollard, even though I know on paper it looks bad, but Pollard could have a big game. You're going against a Lions defense that has struggled. So you don't have many other options if you're Tennessee. So Pollard could have a huge game. If you can't make the trade, you're obviously going with Henry. You're going to go with Njoku. I mean, how do you bench Jordan Jefferson or Jamar Chase? I'm just trying to think of what you want to do in the flex. Okay, trade went through. Okay. So here's your roster now. Yeah, I would start Mahomes, Kyren. You want to start Pollard. You got Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, right? You're going to start Njoku. I'm drawing a complete blank on flex, because you could go Mason, you could go Tyreek Hill. Could also go Chase Brown. That's actually not a bad option. He's been getting more touches. Probably go Chase Brown. I'm gonna level with you. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. has been wildly more productive than Tyreek Hill. I understand your logic here, but you have no idea what's going on. You got some time, but I would strongly suggest you take Brian Thomas Jr., start him over Tyreek. Okay, so listen, you're in a PPR league, right? Look, you got Jamar Chase, you got Justin Jefferson, right? I mean, I would start those guys. I would go with Mahomes. You got Njoku. I would play Kyron Williams. I would definitely start Pollard, and Chase Brown's probably, that's the big question. We don't know. He's supposed to be, but we don't know. Listen, you gotta I mean, you got Chase Brown. Listen, Chase Brown has been productive, man. Look, last week, even in a loss, 15 carries, 44 yards. That's against a very good Browns defense. 2 carries, 9. I know what you're saying. Not a lot of production, but look, there's a guy who got 17 touches against a very, very, very tough defense. I mean, I know Philly's also got a tough defense, but I mean, you're probably getting 15 to 20 touches. You're not getting 15 to 20 touches, I mean, out of any one of your receivers. But I mean, it doesn't matter. At least we got you. Listen, you got starting running backs in Kyron Williams and Pollard. You're going to get a lot of points. You're going to get points out of Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. I would lean towards Brian Thomas Jr. over Hill, but I may want to consider getting a running back who's going to get more touches with home run speed. That's another thought. Do start Mahomes. Let me keep in touch with me. Let me know how you do, because we gotta get you winning. We gotta get you a win this week. Scorpio, one of my opponents sent me a trade. I get Aaron Jones. They get James Cook and you're giving up Cook and Devontae Adams for Aaron Jones? No. You're giving away 2 starters for 1, and I like Cook's upside over Aaron Jones. No, don't make this move. Why are you giving up 2 starters? I mean, no, please don't make this move. Scorpio, please don't make this move. I get why. I mean, you got the number 1 receiver in CD. You got A.J. Brown, but I mean, if by the way, I think you're losing Aaron Jones for James Cook. I think you're losing. To tell you the truth, that's why I don't like the move. I mean, listen, you got Lamar Jackson, you got CD Lamb, you got AJ Brown. I mean, you should be winning your league. This is let's not do this. Let's do me a favor. Don't make this move. Is there any other options that you can make here? Because I don't think this helps your team. Denver Gator. I do have my hands full, and it's a lot of fun. No show tomorrow. Got a weird situation tomorrow. So, Cena, love the name. I'm gonna butcher the last name, so I am so sorry for this. Cena Gandici. I'm terrible with names. SG, if you don't mind. Hopefully you're not offended. Jalen McMillan or Sterling Shepard on Tampa? All right. This is a great question. Now, for those of you who don't know, Sterling Shepard played at Oklahoma Baker Mayfield. McMillan is a 3rd-round pick out of Washington, a pick I really liked for Tampa Bay, because this is a guy that's got some upside, also got some speed, which one thing about Evans and Godwin is that they don't really have speed. So I really like the potential here. Here's I don't recognize you, so please, if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button. But the one thing I want to emphasize here is that I'm gonna offer some advice that you may not like, but here's the deal. You're gonna get the higher floor with Shepard. You're gonna get the higher ceiling with McMillan. I mean, McMillan, you have much more upside. Um, Depending on your league and your matchup this week, I need to know, are you in a situation, because I'm looking at your other trade offer. I can't wait to dive into that. And I'm going to answer everything. Are you in a situation where are you projected to win or lose? Because if you're projected to win, I would want to go with Sterling Shepard. If you're projected to lose, I would roll the dice and go with McMillan, because you have the potential for much more upside with McMillan. With Shepard, I think at maximum you're going to get like 6-7 catches, 60, 70 yards, and you're hoping you get the score. With McMillan, you could break the bank, and he could be a home run threat. Guy I really liked out of Washington, but one thing always bothers me is if you're not the number one guy in college, and keep in mind Odunze is kind of an exception to the rule. I mean, he's the 9th overall pick, and Polk was the 2nd round pick, one of his teammates. McMillan and Polk, I really didn't differentiate those two that much, but both of them are 2nd seed to Odunze in college. So if you're not number one guy in college, I always kind of like, really sure, but there's a few exceptions. This is one of them. Now, this trade offer, Tank Dell, Brock Purdy for CD, I'm assuming it's both, and I 100% make this move. Granted, Brock Purdy's not your starting quarterback. I need a little more information. Now, in this situation where you now got CD Lamb, and I would go with Sterling Shepard. And the reason why is you're getting guaranteed production here, and you're getting guaranteed production here. Now, keep in mind, if you're struggling, maybe you want to roll the dice and go with McMillan, because CD Lamb's like guaranteed points every week. I'm assuming in making this trade, Purdy's not starting for you. If that's the case, make this move, and you're a good deal. You got a deal for CD with a QB? Yeah, I mean, this isn't. SG. If Purdy's not your starting quarterback, make this move. Ryan Thomas Jr. was also an exception. This Hurts is starting. Going to send you my matchup. Okay. Matchup. Okay. Perfect. I'll be honest with you. I almost kind of like Purdy against. I like Purdy more than Hurts this week, but let's say you're going to go with Hurts. Okay. I still listen. I still like this. And by the way, get CD Lamb. I'm assuming it's a PPR. I would get CD Lamb. Since you're going with Hurts, you have some unknown, unfortunately. And then I would get the steady production with Sterling Shepard. This would be your 2 or flex, ideally. And here you go. Someone offered me Josh Allen for Henry. I did not do it. And I'm glad you didn't do it either. Boy, this is a good one. Trade Saquon for Kamara and Gibbs. Now, here's what you have with Gibbs. I would like to see Montgomery get more touches, and Gibbs is getting more touches than Montgomery. Kamara, I think, is going to lose production, but the one thing about Saquon Barkley, this is, there's. I called him until last week. He's your fantasy football MVP. Still might be. This is a tough one for me, because you're giving up a legit superstar for 2 good guys. The problem is I have a hard time thinking you're going to trade Saquon and you're starting both these guys, you have some variance here. I mean, look, I mean, the one thing about Saquon Barkley is he's not been able to stay healthy. I do like the idea of selling high, and I get it, but the thing is, with both Kamara and Gibbs, with Gibbs, you're splitting carries, and I think Kamara's production is going to go down. So, I'm kind of leaning against it. What I'd like to see you do is that is there a receiver that might be available instead of Kamara? What other options do you have? I just look, you're getting a lot of production out of Saquon, and I love what you're thinking. Hey, I'm going to sell high, but I'm with Gibbs. It's always going to be a little bit of variance, and Kamara's production to me looks like it's going down. Especially when you have an iffy quarterback situation. That's why I'm kind of leaning against it, but I like your idea of trading Saquon when his value is high. I love selling high. All right, he got you a lot of points. He has an injury issue. I'd like to see you make a different trade, but I like the way you're going. I'm not fond of this trade though. Yeah, send me a trade. Send me your matchup. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I would do. Who would you trade for Brian Thomas? Okay. Brian, who would I? Wow, that's a tough one. Brian Thomas Jr. and Jacobs. I have Geno, Jonathan Brooks, Rico Dowdle, Bucky A-Chain, B. John Reed, Marvin Harrison Jr., Pickens. Wow, you got a nice roster there. God, that's a tough one because I've been trashing Rico Dowdle, but he's kind of won me over. Jonathan Brooks is the ultimate boom or bust. You have no idea what to expect. He may not even play next week. I like Bucky. I'm not as high on A-Chain. You have an injury issue. I really thought Mostert was going to get more carries. Now with Tua coming back, this is interesting, but you don't know. But John Robinson, I love. Jalen Reed's an up and down guy. Boy, that's okay. So you have two really, really, really good tight ends I like. So my guess is that what you're trying to do is try to trade up and downs for some steady production here. I mean, let me ask you this here. I'm assuming Brian Thomas Jr. and Jacobs is on the same team. The guy that you're trading for, J2. Because I kind of like your lineup the way it is because you got some guys in John solid, Dowdle solid, Bucky has upside. Jonathan Brooks is the ultimate wild card, and then you got Reed, Marvin Harrison. You don't really know. Puka, you don't know. Debo, you don't know. So I get it. So my thought process is that yeah, whoever you're trading with will probably want, if it's the same guy. I need a little more information here on this trade because are you targeting somebody? More than likely he's going to want a receiver and a running back. You may luck out and you may be able to do something like you may be able to look out and do something like Dowdle and Reed, but I mean you could go Bucky and Reed. I need a little more information here. Is this just, these are two guys you like? It's I mean, I mean, you could do something kind of crazy. You could do something like Pickens and Bucky for BTJ and Jacobs, and that you're hoping BTJ and Pickens ends up being a push, and that they're going to phase Bucky out, you know, because defenses are going to be focusing more on the running game with the two receivers out. You could do something like that. There's so many different things I can talk about. I just need a little more information. J2, I've seen you before in the chat. I'm not going to be on tomorrow, but if you DM me, email me, or put a comment in here, I need a little more information here. And I only got 5 minutes left. I got some questions I got to answer. So I need a little more information here on this possible trade. Oh, God. 2-flex lead London for Tyreek. Look, London's a guy that's been pretty consistent. You don't know what you're getting in Tyreek Hill. If you make a move like this, you're banking on upside. I mean, you know, let me see here, Jennings and Pearson. Okay, look, waiver wire options. I'm a little confused because Jennings and Pearson. So you're looking for a receiver, but you have London? I'm a little confused. Off the top of my head, I'd say no. I mean, if you're looking for a boom or bust, here's the deal. If you had good receivers already, like, you know, your Jamar Chase, your Justin Jefferson, your Amon-Ra St. Brown, your CD Lamb, I could see you trying to make a move like this, but since you're scouring the waiver wire for receivers, I wouldn't do that. So best waiver wire pickup, who's really an option and who's not going to dominate? Will the dude from the Browns be any good? So you have Elijah Moore and you have Jerry Jeudy. I don't know if either one of those are legitimately available, but if you do have either one of those guys that are available in waiver wire, I like them both. I keep in mind these are guys I had major man crushes on when they were in college, and I really thought that they would be much, much better. Keep in mind with the offensive line situation, I don't even know who's starting at quarterback. I don't know if it's Jameis Winston or DTR. By the way, if it's Jameis Winston, you know that dude doesn't care. Like he doesn't care. He'll throw 4 interceptions. He'll go right back, keep firing. You may get 500-yard day out of Winston. You have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised both these guys would be available in the waiver wire. Elijah Moore is a guy I love. Like, he ran a 4.31. He's short, but he's a little stocky. I hate to even say, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Tyreek Hill. He's kind of built that way. He's a short, stocky type of dude who has home run speed. DK Metcalf was lobbying the Seahawks to take Elijah Moore. Both of them went to Ole Miss. Not been productive at all. He could be a waiver wire pickup. Trey Palmer, of course, the Bucs receivers. We talked about those guys as well. So you have an opportunity there. But which Brown are you talking about? Elijah Moore, or are you talking about Jerry Jeudy? I think both these guys have massive upsides, and both of them may be available. And I think depending on your league, both of them may be available. You have Amon-Ra. Wait a minute. You can get Amon-Ra if you're in a PPR league, and you can get Amon-Ra. And is there any chance you can get Amon-Ra and Gibbs? A little double dip with Detroit. Can you do that? I have to wrap up. IDK, please stay in touch with me. Let me know what you do. I'm not on tomorrow, but you can DM me and I will get back to you tonight. Let me know if you can pick up Monroe, get him. I get it. I get it. He's 7-0. So what is okay? So look, I want you to win your trade here. Okay, so you gotta win this. He's 7-0. You're 3-4, correct? Okay, and you want some consistency. Fair. Who's he a fan of? Is he a Cowboys fan? Does he love Dowdle? Is he a Bucks fan? Does he love, Bucky? I would really hate for you to trade Bijan Robinson, but I get it. You could go. Would he be willing to eat? Would he be willing to take Debo? Is he a Packers fan? Does he want to take Reed? Do you want to get rid of Marvin Harrison Jr.? Can you package some things? Okay, so here's what I want. Here's what I'd like for you to do is I really want you to win this trade. I gotta end the show. But I stay in touch with me because I want to help you win this trade, okay? You can move A-Chain, you can move Reed, and you can move Marvin Harrison. All right. I mean, those three guys, you move and you still got some studs. I would like to see you move those guys. Could you throw in a Wendell Robinson or a Puka, give him more for, give him some depth, what it looks like? That's kind of my guess at what he's trying to do is he's trying to get some depth. That's why he's reaching out to you. All right. That's my guess. If he's looking for a one-on-one trade, here's what you may want to consider. Debo, keep in mind he's in the hospital. He may not go for it. As far as your running backs, you may have to give up Bucky or A-Chain. Look, my guess is that he's wanting depth, so you may be able to figure it out. What do you know about the guy? Who does he like? Who would he take? Because if he's reaching out to you, he's willing to give you something. You just got to find out what he wants. I don't want you to give up Jonathan Brooks. Hold on to Brooks because you may hit a home run. Ideally, I'd like for you to hold on to Dowdle because he's been productive. I also love for you to hold on to Bijan, but you may not be able to. Since you're looking for stability, hold on to Brooks because he's a home run, possibly. I'd like for you to hold on to Pickens, but you may have to do a Pickens and Dowdle trade for Brian Thompson Jr. and Jacobs. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, but find out who he wants, and then let's. I mean, if it's feasible, because you got some really good pieces. I want you to keep Brooks. You keep Brooks because you're 3-4. Brooks is the guy that if he starts playing, he could be unstoppable. I'd like for you to keep Dowdle because he's been steady. I'd also love for you to keep Bijan, but keeping all three of these guys may not be doable in this trade. Receiver options that, to be honest with you, I don't see any receiver that I would keep over Brian Thomas Jr. You may be able to get rid of, maybe he loves Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe he's an Ohio State guy. Marvin Harrison Jr. and maybe you can get rid of Puka and Debo. Maybe he wants 3 receivers. I'm not sure. Receivers, I would move any one of your receivers. You have 2 really good tight ends. Does he want one of your tight ends? That's kind of my thought process. J2, let me know what you're going to do, man. Stay in touch with me, man. I'm going to help you. Aiden, what's up, brother? I was wondering if any positions I need to improve and sent my roster in the chat earlier. Austin, I am so sorry, man. Because I got to wrap up the show and I'm not on tonight, or I'm not on tomorrow. And I remember you sent it in, and I'm just not sure where it's at. Because I remember I really liked your roster, and I didn't really see anything I wanted you to do, if I remember correctly. You talked about, let me see here, you're talking about Dobbs. I have, you're 5-2. Did I not answer this? I want to trade Aaron Jones and Kyle Pitts and Wendell for but John Robinson. Yeah. I'm sorry I answered that. Listen, if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. I mean, you've been steady. If I missed it, but did you make that trade? And I do got to wrap up, but if you comment on this video or DM me, I'll get back to you later tonight or tomorrow. But I don't know if you made that trade for John Robinson or not. CC, what's up? Just traded Cooper for Dobbins and JMO. I have Chase, Garrett Wilson, Nico Collins when he returns. You just so you know, JMO's out for the next 2 weeks, but I like the move with Dobbins. And then I'll be honest with you, when Collins returns, you're probably not using JMO, but you have that option. You are aware JMO's missing the next 2 games, so. Don't like Richardson at all. Brees, Gibbs, Brooks, Javonte. Oh, okay. Mr. Grapefruit, what's up, brother? I just offered Tony Pollard for Amari Cooper in a PPR league to a guy who only has Ramonde, Eckler, Gibson, Singletary running back. Is that enough for Cooper, or should I give? You want to? I actually don't like this move. I think Tony Pollard's a guy you really want to keep. I think you overpaid, and I mean, if you've already made the trade, I understand, but you're overpaying. I mean, you're in a PPR league. Tony Pollard's a 3-down back, and he's desperate for a running back. Oh, wait a minute. You just got offered Tony Pollard for Amari Cooper in a PPR league who only has. To a guy who only has. Is that enough for Cooper? Oh, okay. So listen, so he's going to pull the trigger on this immediately. You should not give more. Can you retract the trade and get something more? If I remember right, you have some good running backs, so it's not going to kill you. But yeah. Oh, context. Yeah, I still. God, you do got some good receivers. I understand why you want to do this now. Yeah, you want to get rid of London. God, I get why you want to. I would still lean against it, but I would lean against it. But one thing I will tell you is that I would try to improve your quarterback position. You got some really good players. I would try to make a move that trying to improve your quarterback position. I'm not an Anthony Richardson guy, but I'm glad you're 5-2. Because if I wouldn't make that move though. Tillman dude had like 100 yards. God, yeah, you retract. All right. Hurts, Cooper, Smith, nice. Brian Robinson, Freer, McDowell, Boswell, bench, Jacoby Myers, Purdy, Charbonnet, Mozart, Andrews, Madison versus Stroud, London, Hill, Kamara. All right. You may luck out with Stroud getting an early lead, banking on you're going against Tyreek Hill and Alvin Kamara. I kind of like that. Aaron Jones is interesting on Monday night. I mean, Derrick Henry's been fantasy football gold right now, so you're in good shape. I would lean a little bit towards Myers over Dell. I mean, but it's not a I'm not really high on Devontae Smith, to be honest with you, but I get why you have it. Little double dip there makes a lot of sense. Amari Cooper, don't blame you for going there. Dell's your look. I'll be honest with you. There's a couple. I would. They didn't really use Mozart much. Charbonnet is interesting as well against Buffalo. That I maybe wouldn't go that route, but I'm just not high on Dell, and I could argue Purdy. I'll be honest. I like your matchup though. I like your matchup. I'll be honest. I'm gonna level with you, man. I would really go Purdy over Hurts, but let's say you keep it. I like the Hurts Smith double dip if it works, only if it works. Look, you got Derrick Henry. You're in good shape. Brian Robinson, if he plays, it's a tough Bears defense. You may want to consider Mozart. Of course, I said Mozart last week, and I don't think he did anything. I don't think Mozart did anything at all last week. 11 carries, 50 yards. I know he had a fumble. Wasn't used in a receiving game, but I don't hate your lineup. I mean, there's a few things I would tweak, but the thing is, here's where you could get lucky. Is Stroud could very easily get out, or Texans could get out to an early lead and then you just run the ball. Do me a favor, stay in touch with me. No show tomorrow, but touch base with me on Thursday if you can. I'll be honest with you. If you're going to trade one of those guys, I would trade Kamara, to be honest with you, but don't retract that and let's see if we can get you something up. Hey, Andre, I got to end the show. But John Robinson. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm sorry. But John Robinson. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh God, you're in great shape. But John Robinson, Derrick Henry. I still would start Mozart over Dell, and I could argue Myers over Smith. No, you're good. You're listen. Do me a favor. I get it. You want to do Dell because they're starting Stroud. Okay. Do me a favor. Start Mozart over Dell. Don't touch a lineup. I could argue Purdy over Hurts. And after you win, hit me up Monday. Let me know. Don't make that trade. Retract it. And I want to get you more. And I mean, I like your running backs. We can get you a better retract and see if we can get you something more. Dan, I'm in a tough spot this week. I'm thinking about benching Kyron because the matchup is just horrible. My backup's Kareem Hunt. That actually is not a bad idea, but I like Kyron Williams. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. If you go with Kareem Hunt, he's going to get a lot of touches. I mean, that's a tough one, man. Andre, I don't think you're making a mistake either way. I will say this: I like Kareem Hunt. Absolutely. 100%. That's a no-brainer. That's a great question. Yeah, yeah, absolutely make this move. Make this move. Do me a favor. I'm not going to be on tomorrow, but I'll be on Thursday. Please hit me back up Thursday. Let me know that you made this trade because you're going to win. Guys, I got to go. I'm about 15 minutes too late. But guys, thank you so much for the questions. I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be back Thursday. Check out the video. You can DM me. You can comment on this video. You can go old school and email me, and I will be back. I'll be back on Thursday. I wouldn't blame you if you did it. Let me know what you do. I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you. Have a great night.